If ever there was a team that has earned the benefit of the doubt, it would be this version of the 49ers, where the majority of the guys that are on this roster and that head coach, who we all think highly of, have proven multiple times they can have a bad stretch of football, be it at the beginning, middle, or end of a season,
right,
and figure it out and get to where and not the ultimate prize, but pretty damn close, okay? Now, at the beginning of the year, it was all about focusing on the number one seed. I get that. Things have changed a little. Obviously, got to make the playoffs. That's the number one priority. We can worry about seeding once we qualify for the playoffs. But why do I this morning feel like this Warrior game against the Kings, for the Warrior psyche, for the fans, for the camaraderie component that Draymond keeps alluding to, that Steph Curry keeps alluding to, that Steve Kerr and Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy and all of them are alluding to? Why do I feel like this night's game against the Kings, in a weird way, feels bigger than the Cincinnati Bengal game? Because they got to get off to a hot start on the road, get a win, shut up the naysayers, kind of just stabilize things. Not that the Niner game isn't huge, because there's so few NFL games. Losing 3 in a row would suck. But looking at the schedule back in June or July, this felt like if you're a Niner fan, even at full strength, this was going to be a tough one.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
When I look at the Warriors, you got to start stacking some of these wins. Am I tripping? Am I prisoner of the moment? Is it me just wanting to beat the Kings?
I think it's you wanting to beat the Kings. It's a personal game. This was a just exceptional 7-game series. It was fun. It was the first time we ever seen the Kings and Warriors in the playoff series together. They had never been in the playoffs at the same time since they moved to Northern California. Since the Kings moved over from Kansas City. The Kansas City Royals moving to Sacramento in the mid-'80s. The Warriors and Kings have never been in this postseason at the same time, simultaneously. It's hard for me to say this is a big game because it's game number 2.
I know.
I understand where you're trying to go. I understand what you're saying.
Like psyche-wise.
I understand what you're saying because 7 of the next 8 are on the road. And we all have PTSD from the road woes from a season ago.
Exactly.
And we all don't know how this thing is going to work with Chris Paul and Klay Thompson. And there's no Draymond Green tonight. Steve Kerr announced on Willard and Dibbs that there's no Draymond Green tonight in Sacramento. So how do you slow them down? How do you slow them down without your best defender? The Kings, they want to make a statement. They made a statement in Salt Lake City on Wednesday, and they beat down the Jazz. I'm not sure tonight's a must-win. But I understand what you're trying to say here, that they need to get off to a better start. It's imperative for the Warriors to make everybody feel good psychologically, make their own feel. Because at some point, when you keep talking about connectivity, camaraderie, that goes out the window if you don't win basketball games. And so, is it a must-win tonight? No, hell no. Is it the end of the world if they drop to 0-2? No, it's not. There's 80 games left. But I understand that you want to be able to put your best foot forward and play well. And you want to show the Kings that, hey, we're still the better team. There's a lot of people comparing the Kings or saying the Kings could challenge the Nuggets for the West title. Now, the Kings are hungry. De'Aaron Fox, who just signed with the Curry brand, is looking to go at Curry. That was really cool.
Can we stop for a second here?
That was really cool. Did you hear him say, I look at it different ways. I'm wearing his shoes, and some people's like, oh, man, you're wearing Curry's shoes. He goes, well, I'm wearing Curry's shoes, and I'm going to bust his ass with his own shoes. I was like, damn, that's pretty gangster.
I really like De'Aaron Fox, and if there was a player that I kind of misread, I think it would be De'Aaron Fox. Yeah. When he got the mega deal, I remember going like, really?
Yeah, we went back and forth on that.
Really? Like a mega deal for him?
We went back and forth on that.
And you know what? He's one of my favorite players. He's won me over. And it's not just the style of play. To me, it's the leadership. It's what I hear him say. It's how he conducts himself.
How about him embracing Sacramento?
Absolutely.
How about him going to Deuce and Mo?
Box.
He went to Deuce and Mo's house to record a podcast and hung out with them as if they were just friends. That's what he does.
Yeah,
De'Aaron Fox is the Steph Curry of Sacramento. And he has a chance to elevate that franchise with the way he plays. Him taking on the challenge of defending Steph Curry one-on-one. It's not the best thing in the world to do, but, Sacramento's got a good team. They got things rolling up there, and that fan base is on a high now after last season.
Similar to, Burrow, and I want to talk about Cincinnati in a second. I look at you more when you're a guy that goes to a decrepit organization like Steph Curry and you want to be that team's leader and you want to stay there. You don't want to sulk and cry and get out of town. I don't know. I hold you in higher regard. I do. Like when you stay in one place instead of, trying to. This is why Dame got elevated for so long. Like he stayed in Portland, wanted to stay in Portland.
By the way, Dame Dollar last night?
39.
Yeah. If Middleton can get right with that knee, yes, then Milwaukee's going to be a championship problem. Dame Dollar looked really good.
Wait, you're telling me a team with Giannis and Dame's going to be good?
Right. I mean, Middleton's the X factor. You want to talk about championship, but that was a fun game to watch last night.
I agree.
And Philadelphia, for Philadelphia, I know we're getting sidetracked here. You're Philadelphia. Try to get James Harden out of there now. Try to match a contract. Get a deal.
Ronte.
Go get somebody for him.
Who is sitting here going, gotta have Harden?
Yeah, I don't know, but you got to go find a sucker somewhere. Get him out of town. I'm telling you, send them to the Beijing Ducks or whatever their name is, the Beijing 92s.
Like in Mr. Baseball?
Yeah.
You trade him. You got traded to the Dodgers.
Dude,
which one?
Send them to.
Was it not the Tokyo?
Send them to Dubai. Send them to Saudi Arabia.
The Dragons or was it the Dodgers?
Send them to Saudi Arabia.
You don't know the Mr. Baseball reference? Don't you're looking at me cringy. Tom Selleck? Are you kidding me?
Never seen it.
It's pretty good.
You've never seen Mr. Baseball?
Early 90s movie, though.
It's a classic.
It is a classic, but you know.
Tom Selleck is a classic.
More of a rookie of the year kind of a guy.
Tom Selleck, one of the few guys who played as an athlete and it looked believable.
Yep.
You know what I mean, B?
Yep. He did look believable.
I'm sorry.
I always got Tom Selleck mixed up with Burt Reynolds, though. I did.
Did you?
I did, because of the mustaches.
Yeah, I could see that.
The mustaches. I'm like, wait, is that Burt or is that Tom? Is that Tom or is that Burt?
My favorite Burt Reynolds portrayal is in Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights classic.
Yeah,
it's a who's who.
That mustache is hardcore.
Oh, it is.
Both those mustaches are hardcore. But no, I hear you on the Kings. You want to set the tone. I see Manuel Rodriguez in the chat. The beam will be lit tonight. They're waiting for this game. This is their home opener coming off a special season a year ago. Now, special, they lose in the first round, but that team hadn't been to the playoffs in damn near 20 years. So I get why Sacramento, they want to stack wins. They want to get to 2-0. And they want to make sure, hey, Mike Brown knows how important this is to keep the Warriors down bad until they can find their rhythm here. That's the other thing, too. And without Draymond Green, they're just so small.
Yeah, they are. Tonight's not the end-all, be-all. Look, you can't compare one game in the NFL where there's 17 games. You know, it's basically a fifth of the season in the NBA to one game in the NBA. That's an absurd statement.
Right.
But I do believe for this Warrior team, even though they're veterans on the team, there are a lot of young guys. And I think things are fragile. Like, I'm not saying that, like, right now they're in an inflection point and the sky's falling. I'm just saying, like, early season indicators can swing this thing in the right direction.
So Chris Paul had a good debut. I thought Sarge played well, even though he missed a ton of layups. Wiggins, where's Wiggins going to be at?
I
want to see him.
Very interested to see how much. You know, a lot of people questioning his love for basketball, which I think is
that was
a
wild.
Little
that was
strong.
Wild. Yeah, I'm not
for early in the year.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't like when we do that. I really don't like when we
go inside a person's heart.
Yeah. I say, hey, this guy don't really love basketball, and no, I'm not gonna do that
unless you have a body of work like a James Harden, where you've done dumb things at every turn, then we can question you. Wiggins, come on.
Yeah, I mean, his dad played hoops. The guy's been a hooper his whole life. Now, did he just play hoops because he had God-given talent and he was gifted everything? I don't know, man. I'm not gonna question his dedication to the game, especially after last season. I'm not gonna do it. But to say that the psyche of the Golden State Warriors could be fractured off a loss to the Sacramento Kings. I'm looking at it like this. I see the team down in Santa Clara.
A combination of losses.
I see the team down in Santa Clara. And this team in Santa Clara, the San Francisco 49ers, they have Super Bowl aspirations. And you're coming off that defeat on Monday Night Football. And we don't know if Brock Purdy's going to play or not. He may play. Like, that's what I thought. We kind of brought it up yesterday. We're so hyper-focused on Sam Darnold. But Shanahan did mention it. Hey, there's a chance he passes through concussion protocol and he could play because he played last year in Seattle without practicing. So Brock Purdy may play. And if Brock Purdy plays, there's no excuses for Sunday. You got your starting quarterback. All right? You're playing a good team, but you're at home.
You're flirting with danger.
And Cincinnati gives up a lot of yards on the ground, especially on the road. Nearly 175. So if the Niners lose 3 in a row, going into a bye week, not only the psyche of the fan base, but the psyche of the team, because you got to come back out and you got to play Jacksonville after the bye week. And that's another Super Bowl contender. So I would say, it's hard for me to say game number 2.
I know.
It's going to fracture the psyche of the Golden State Warriors, because on Sunday you should be able to get right against your Houston Rockets. You know? Wow. You should be able to get right against your Houston Rockets and Dylan Brooks.
When you win 11 road games the year prior, we can have all the reasons why. I think you need to earn back the benefit of the doubt on the road. And so until I see otherwise, I'm going to be very skeptical on the road. And I think that they've earned that.
But don't the Niners, have they earned that benefit of the doubt? We're talking about the championship core with the Golden State Warriors.
Well, you're talking about, what, 4, 5 guys that have won championships together?
Steph, Clay,
as
Dre,
primary players.
Wiggins, Looney.
As 5. Primary players.
And you got your championship coach.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, that's damn near.
Top 5 or 8.
Yeah, that's damn near 50% of your team.
It's a good point.
The Niners.
We act like the Niners haven't won anything. No, they've won a lot of big games.
Well, they haven't won the big one. They haven't won the big one. And I know that's hard to do. They've been in a lot of good games, but they haven't won the big one. But to me, if they go into the bye week losing 3 in a row, and the question marks surrounding Steve Wilkes, and we'll get into his presser yesterday, and Shanahan throwing him under the bus, and I saw Eric Crocker's tweet yesterday saying he was not happy with Shanahan calling out Steve Wilkes. A lot of people, and I get both sides of it.
Did you hear what Shanahan said on an interview on another station?
No.
He admitted that, I'm on the headset. I should be able to call a timeout and change that. I heard it, and I should have done something about it. He took a little, Shanahan did, took a little blame and and which is what I brought up yesterday to you. Like, hey, you're on that headset.
Right.
If you're the ultimate guy, you need to be able to step in there. That's just
don't throw him under
my
the bus.
opinion, not being a head coach.
Right. Don't throw your D coordinator under the bus. You got the power.
Retconned it.
I mean,
he retconned it. As we retcon everything.
So I just think the Niners are in a fragile spot. They lose 3 in a row, and their psyche saying, you know what, we were just 5-0. Now we're 5-3, and we're not in the battle for number one seed. We're in a battle for the NFC West. Now you got to battle. You got to worry about winning the division. Yeah. We thought the division was wrapped up through the first 5 weeks of the season. So, look, the Warriors could lose tonight. How does it look? Now, if they get blasted by 30, you're like, oh, what's going on here? Let's say they lose by 5 to the Sacramento Kings, some late free throws. Not worried about it.
Yeah, I'd still like to beat them.
No, we all want to win. I want to win every single game.
Yeah, I know.
I want to go 81-1, but it's not possible. The Niners need to win on Sunday. No matter what. Darnold, Purdy, they have to win because that psyche of that football team. Now, they've been down bad before, 2-4, 3-4, going 4-4, going into the bye week, and they're still in a good spot. But damn, you lose 3 in a row, and then you lose at home in front of this fan base going into the bye week. We're going to be down bad as a fan base, and this team's going to have to look themselves in the mirror saying, are we really a Super Bowl contender or are we front runners? Well,